Welcome to an all-new adult erotica in comics. You're watching SFont82. I am Scotty, your underground comic-loving friend, and I got a pretty good video for you guys this week. This week, we're going to be talking about publisher, artist, and writer Barry Blair, and in particular, a little bit about his series Leather and Lace, which before this past week, I didn't have really a whole lot of knowledge on, but I have got to do a little research on Leather and Lace. I recently inherited basically the whole run of Leather and Lace, so I have them in hand to check out myself, and I have really fallen in love with the series. I think it's fantastic. I really like Barry Blair's art style. We're going to take a look at both in today's video, so I hope that you will stick around. Barry Blair was a Canadian comics publisher, artist, and writer, born in Ottawa, Ontario in 1954. He would spend the majority of his childhood years moving back and forth between Canada and Taiwan, Hong Kong, Thailand, Burma, Cambodia, and Vietnam. He was probably best known for launching Aircel Comics, which published so many fantastic titles throughout the 1980s, including Samurai, Elf Lord, Dragon Force, and The Men in Black. From early on, Blair's style was influenced by the comics he had seen while living in East Asia, at a time when manga and other Asian comics were largely unknown to North America. His art was typically characterized by childlike figures and would include nudity or partial nudity. This would continue into the erotica that became his main focus later in his career and were common criticisms of his work. Interesting random fact about Barry Blair. Some of his first professional work was on animation in the Nickelodeon children's TV series You Can't Do That on Television and the science show Let Me Prove It. In 1985, when the insulation company Blair worked for lost its contract with the government, he persuaded the owner to revamp the corporation as Aircel Comics under Blair's editorial direction. Aircel became a successful independent comics publisher during the industry expansion which followed. Blair wrote and illustrated several of his own series during the early years of Aircel, including Elf Lord and Leather and Lace, which we will talk about later in this video. From 1990 through 92, he would illustrate comic adaptations of the novels Logan's Run and Logan's World for Malibu Comics, which would eventually acquire Aircel. Blair left Aircel in 91 to form his own production company, and beginning in 1992, he wrote and illustrated runs of the ElfQuest series, New Blood and Blood of 10 Chiefs, and did other art and writing work for the then expanding ElfQuest line, published by Warp Graphics. He worked on a series called Demon Gate under pseudonym Bao Lin Hum. In the early 2000s, Blair and Walbridge produced the adult graphic novel series Sapphire for NBM Publishing, as well as the two titles Snow and Dick Sweeney for the now defunct French publisher Editions Paquette. Later, they focused on work for online gaming and private commissions. They also collaborated on Nymphettes, an art series featuring erotic illustrations. They joined with Santos Alaman to form Studio Realmwalkers in 2009. But that's not the focus of today's video. The focus of today's video is on Leather and Lace. I wanted to talk a little bit about the Leather and Lace series. The initial series would run for 25 issues and would conclude in 1991. But there is also a 1990 summer special and also a 3-issue Leather and Lace series titled Book 2, Blood, Sex, and Tears. Leather and Lace is about two women, Christine Guyen and Pamela Wild. They both had bills to settle with a local white slaver. The pair of girls meet and become friends and go to Vietnam to search for Pamela's sister, who had been kidnapped by the white slaver rings. Their adventure would take the duo against the criminal mastermind and former dictator, Velvet Black. I wanted to note that although Leather and Lace Book 2, Blood, Sex, and Tears, was slated to be a 4-issue miniseries, it never had an issue 4. Barry Blair would pass away on January 3rd of 2010. He died of a brain aneurysm that had been misdiagnosed as an ear infection. But his work lives on, and he is loved by people just like me to this day. Had you ever heard of Aircel Publishing or Leather and Lace prior to this video? What do you think about Barry Blair and his art style? Is this something you could get into, or is the style of his artwork throw you off? Let me know your thoughts in the comments and hit that like button if you learned anything or took anything from today's video. I want to give a big shout out to the channel members. Your channel membership money goes straight to a donation box going to a new member of recovery who lacks the basic needs. So I really appreciate you all. Big shout out to the channel members. And I want to give a big shout out to you guys, the viewers. Thank you so much for tuning in to this week's Adult Erotica in Comics. I do brand new videos every Wednesday at 11 a.m. Eastern Time, so I hope that you'll come back to check them out. I hope you all have a fantastic week, and I will see you again next Wednesday. Peace.